Shubhanshu Shukla Axiom4 mission live updates. Space awaits history as Dragon prepares to dock at ISS. Shubhanshu Shukla Axiom4 mission live updates. The Axiom4 mission carrying Indian astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla finally launched on a historic space mission from Kennedy Space Center in Florida on Wednesday and will dock at the International Space Station at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time 4 p.m. IST. In his second message to Earth from space, Shukla said, "Namaskar from space. I am thrilled to be here with my fellow astronauts. What a ride it was." He also thanked his family and friends and said it was a proud moment for the country. Shukla, an Indian Air Force pilot and ISRO astronaut, is the pilot of the Axiom4 mission, making him the second Indian to venture into space after a gap of 40 years since Rakesh Sharma's legendary space flight in 1984. His journey not only symbolizes India's return to human spaceflight but also reflects the nation's growing ambitions in global space exploration. Axiom4 Commander Peggy Whitson and mission specialists Sa Owozuz Naskiwayanyuski and Tibor Kapu are accompanying Shukla to the space station. After docking, the Axiom4 astronauts will greet the 7 Expedition 73 crewmates, call down to Earth for welcoming remarks, then participate in a safety briefing with the station residents, NASA said. Follow live updates here. Dragon spacecraft reached waypoint 2, only 20 meters away from space station. Dragon approaching the space_station pic. Twitter.com sub2fyxz SpaceX June 26, 2025 The Axiom4 spacecraft is only 7 minutes from docking. The Axiom4 spacecraft is now navigating toward the space-facing docking port on the International Space Station, a designated entry point located on the side facing away from Earth. Dragon spacecraft is about 12 minutes away from docking with the International Space Station ISS, signaling the mission is in its final approach phase. The Dragon spacecraft is now expected to dock with the International Space Station around 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time, which is approximately 4 p.m. IST. The Axiom4 spacecraft is now expected to dock with the International Space Station at approximately 5:18 a.m. EDT, earlier than the 7 a.m. which was the initial scheduled docking time. Dragon spacecraft will soon dock at International Space Station. Only 30 minutes are left for the Dragon spacecraft to approach waypoint 1 ahead of docking at the space station. The docking process of the Dragon spacecraft carrying Axiom4 astronauts is going normally as expected. The Dragon spacecraft carrying Shubhanshu Shukla is approaching waypoint 1, as it enters the final stages of the docking process. The Dragon spacecraft carrying 4X4 astronauts has reached 431 kilometers above Earth at a speed of 26,446 kilometers per hour. The Axiom4 crew members will arrive at the space station 1 hour from now. The mid-course burn process has been completed for the Dragon spacecraft Grace as it heads towards the International Space Station ISS. The Dragon spacecraft Grace is now only 1.9 kilometers away from the International Space Station. This mission is Axiom Space's 4th mission and a debut for India, Hungary, and Poland. The Axiom-1 was the first private space exploration mission, while the second was the first private mission to feature government-sponsored astronauts. The Axiom-3 mission was the first to carry an all-European crew. The Dragon spacecraft will dock with the space-facing port of the Harmony module of the International Space Station at 3:48 p.m. IST. Axiom-4 astronauts have completed suit leak checks for all 4 astronauts aboard the Dragon spacecraft. The suit donning process and audio configuration for the 4 Axiom-4 astronauts has been completed. The Ax-4 crew has also officially initiated communication with Expedition 73 on board the ISS. The Dragon spacecraft is set to dock with the International Space Station ISS at 6:18 a.m. Eastern Time 3:48 p.m. Indian Time. The first approach initiation burn has been completed as the Dragon spacecraft carrying Axiom-4 astronauts is set to dock at the International Space Station ISS shortly. SpaceX says it went nominally. The Dragon spacecraft has initiated its docking approach, aiming for a soft capture with the International Space Station at 4 p.m. Indian Time. It is currently orbiting 420 kilometers above Earth, flying at the same speed and maintaining a stable orbit alongside the space station. The SpaceX Dragon spacecraft named Grace carrying the Axiom-4 crew members will dock at the International Space Station at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time 4 p.m. Indian Time. Once aboard the station, Expedition 73 crew members, including NASA astronauts Nicole Ayers, Anne McClain, and Johnny Kim, JAXA Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Takia Onishi, and Roscosmos cosmonauts Kirill Peskov, Sergei Ryzhikov, and Alexei Zubrisky will welcome the Axiom-4 astronauts. As per NASA. The crew is scheduled to remain at the space station, conducting microgravity research, educational outreach, and commercial activities for about 2 weeks before a return to Earth and splashdown off the coast of California. Air Force Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla carried a plush white swan named Joy as his companion in space while embarking on a historic flight to the International Space Station. ISS Joy served as the mission's zero-G indicator, an object that signals the onset of weightlessness within the spacecraft. The swan's presence holds cultural and spiritual resonance, particularly for India. In Hindu mythology, the swan is the Vahana divine mount of goddess Sarasvati, the deity of wisdom, learning, and the arts. The bird symbolizes purity, transcendence, and the quiet grace of Noel Jean, apt companion for a mission rooted in science, exploration, and international collaboration. Born on October 10, 1985, in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, he did his schooling at City Montessori School CMS, Aliganj campus, in Lucknow. He had secretly applied for the Union Public Service Commission's NDA exam, which is passed successfully. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science from the National Defense Academy in 2005. He also pursued an M.Tech in Aerospace Engineering from the Indian Institute of Science IISc, Bengaluru. Shubhanshu Shukla, sharing updates about Axiom-4 mission, said, "I am learning many new things here. Learning how to eat, learning how to control yourself, learning everything new. I am learning like a baby." As Indian Air Force's IAF Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla lifted off into the International Space Station ISS aboard the Axiom-4 mission, his mother, Asha Shukla, spoke to CNN News 18 and said that it was an emotional and pride moment for the family. "I am feeling very happy. It's a proud and emotional moment for us," said the visibly elated mother. India's presence in space just reached new heights, quite literally, as Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla blasted off on the Axiom mission 4X4 to the International Space Station ISS. But while the achievement is monumental, what truly struck a chord with many Indians was his song of choice for the big moment, the soul-stirring Swads track Yoon Hai Chala Chal. The song featured Shah Rukh Khan and Makarand Deshpande. The Union Cabinet on Wednesday passed a resolution after Indian astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla scripted history by embarking on a space odyssey along with 3 others to the International Space Station as part of a commercial mission by Axiom Space. Speaking at the cabinet briefing, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw read out the resolution. "We welcome the successful launch of the space mission carrying astronauts from India, Hungary, Poland and the US. The Indian astronaut, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, is on the way to become the first Indian to go to the International Space Station." American astrophysicist and author Neil deGrasse Tyson hailed Indian Air Force pilot Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla's journey into space as a milestone not just for India but for all of humanity. Speaking to CNN News 18, Neil deGrasse Tyson said, "It is evidence of India's progress in space. We can think of this as a stepping stone which helps psychologically and emotionally, as it helps pry open opportunities that follow, including India's own mission to space." In his first message to Earth, Shukla said his space venture represented the beginning of India's human space flight program. The mission marks a new phase for India's space program, where human flights would become as routine as satellite launches. Axiom Mission 4 will carry out approximately 60 scientific experiments and outreach activities involving 31 countries, including India, the US, Poland, Hungary, Saudi Arabia, Brazil, Nigeria, UAE, and several European nations. The research will span areas like human health, space agriculture, microgravity physics, and climate technology. The spacecraft carrying 4 Axiom-4 crew members is scheduled to autonomously dock at approximately 7 a.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 p.m. IST, to the space-facing port of the space station's Harmony module. Live coverage of the docking process will begin at 2:30 p.m. Indian time. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the successful launch of the Axiom-4 space mission carrying astronauts from India, Hungary, Poland, and the United States, calling it a proud moment for the nation. The Indian astronaut, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, is on the way to become the first Indian to go to International Space Station. He carries with him the wishes, hopes, and aspirations of 1.4 billion Indians, he said on Wednesday. Latest blogs.